thank you very much for coming. It's heartening, it's fantastic, it's lovely. Thanks. Today's a little bit of an experiment. It's new stuff. Some of it you'll have seen before. Those people who've never seen me before, people like Sam. It will change your world. Honestly, it'll change your world, as it always does. Well, this is new, so I don't know where to get the traction and the talking. So thanks for coming. A little bit of housekeeping. The toilets are across the far side. I'm sure you can find it all grown up. We've got 2 hours. I think I have massively overdone the amount of content in this 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is, if I'm going too fast or you need me to say anything, just say. We can always come back and I can send you some other stuff. The whole idea today is for you guys to get as much value out of this as possible. So I'm not entirely sure why you came, all of you.
Entertainment value.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, great. Great. Yeah, we learned now, but you're funny. Great. Good. Because today's about ways of thinking. It's not about buttons. We'll go on to that later, because buttons are shit. As I'm speaking at my own event, on my own terms, I'm not going to even think about reining in my language. You can get the 100% Neil today, so sorry if any of you are.
How's that different to Friday?
That's me on my best behaviour, seriously. So yeah, can't take a joke, fuck off, y'all. Anyway, so, how was I turn it on? Good start, Neil. So, know, like, trust, buy. There's a bit of a maxim in the business world, which is another load of kind of business bullshit kind of stuff about we only do business that we know, like, and trust with people we know, like, and trust. Like it's one of those words like word of mouth, where we think it means something, but it kind of doesn't. Who's he chuckling about? I need a Twitter wall so I can keep an eye on what you're
about to post on Twitter and I'm like,
I'm okay with you posting on Twitter and stuff as well, but just don't look suspicious when you're
suspicious call.
We live in the modern world. Like I was saying to those lovely people who came and saw me on Friday, which is lovely to have you done, or those people whose dad sent them because they saw me on Friday.
What was Friday, Neil?
Huh?
What was Friday?
It was an expo at Lee Sporting Village. So it was lovely. Numbers are small but very, very perfectly formed, and got some four people who come from that. It was just the usual social media transformation, change your worldview kind of thing. So today's a little bit more of that. It's about ways of seeing and what to do with that. So if the usual rules apply, if I'm not making any sense, or if you need more detail, just say, because this is about giving you guys value. It's not about my ego, believe it or not. So thank you all for coming. I know it's if you can make it for the whole 4 weeks, plus the extra bonus week at the end, which is a practical session about, okay, now we know we see things different, but what do we do? That's up to your elbows in technique, where we'll be working live into your stuff. So thank you for coming for today. I do hope you can make the next one. A little bit of an overview. Now, for the next 25 minutes, there's a bit of an overview about what we're going to do. Know, like, trust, buy. Why give us stuff. And why it works. And then we're going to move on to how to create a compelling brand. We're going to have a little bit of a break, and then designing your ideal customer. You all know who that is, right? Don't give us an eyebrow at me, woman. Yeah. For people I've known for a little while, these are the things I bang on about all the time. So designing your ideal customer and creating an offer that people actually want to buy. Because who did I talk to the other day? It was Stephen. We can do all this stuff, who wants to buy it? And it's like, no, actually, what problem can you solve? And then moving on from that. So, all of this, it kind of fits into the know, like, trust, buy, because I'll show you. A little bit about me, for those of you who don't know me. I work in brand. and marketing, and I help people tell stories or create stories and create information that creates customers. There's a lot of misnomer about marketing, that it's about convincing people. It's not. It's about learning who not to talk to and who isn't, finding out who isn't interested in what you do, and then stopping talking to them entirely. Because you waste your time trying to convince people. It's impossible anyway. They know what problems they need to be solving, unless you're solving that problem. They don't give a fuck. So they only care about themselves, they're not open to convincing, etc. So that's what I do for businesses. What is know, like, trust, buy? It's a process. This is the process. It's a kind of four-step process. I'm going to go into it in much more details later, but the idea is that we've all heard this. We only do business with people that we know, like, and trust. But what most people don't get is that it's a process. That the same kind of information you used to get. It works when you touch it. That's fantastic. So I didn't know that. It's just fantastic. So the kind of information that you get that will get people to know about you, or that people want to know about you, is not the same kind of information that's going to get them to trust you. Come in.
Yeah, sorry,
Can you just sit over there, thanks, Dave. I shall.
Neil, could I have spare sheets, please, for my teammates?
For your teammates. How rude.
He's viewing a house with mortgage issues right now. So.
Okay, no worries. I'll sort those out again. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So the idea is that this is a kind of funnel. And you want people to self-select, because one of the myths in marketing is that you need between 8 and 13 touches for people to build rapport and buy or sell. The myth within that is that all touches are made equal. Right? You don't, just because you say hello to somebody 15 times doesn't mean they know you. Yeah? And this is the key thing, is that the idea is that over time you deepen a relationship. And what this process does is it shows you how to deepen the relationship. We're going to go into this more a bit later on. So this is what we're doing. Today's all about the know. And what know is about what you do. Yeah? Because the first thing, if you consider yourself at a dinner party, when people run up and say, hi, what is it you do? Because that's the first question we all want to know is, what do you do? Yeah? What's useful? What impact could you create for me? Yeah? And that's the first thing we need to know in business, is what do you do? Then it moves on to how do you do it, and then why you do it, which is really important. So, how do I know this system works? I'm actually edging myself out of the room here. How do I know this system works? Because I've developed it. I've been doing what I do now for a little over 12 years. Before that, I was a performer. Contemporary dancer. We were just discussing this. I don't dance anymore, obviously.
I'm trying to get you to come salsa.
I'm trying to get you to come to Adult Ballet. Come on.
I will do them both. I promise. I'll do them both. Oh yeah, by the way, just if there's anything, just talk. It's a conversation. It's not a lecture. We're not at school. Just if you throw stuff, make sure it isn't too pointy. That's all I ask. That's pointy. Stop it. So, how do I know it works? I've worked with over 1,000 businesses in the last 11, 12 years. And this has been honed over seeing them fail. It's kind of evolution in action. I've seen 1,000 businesses, and that's a lot of businesses with a lot of communication and a lot of messages and a lot of content. And I've seen what works and what doesn't. Backing this up, basically this is best. This principle is better. What now? I'm going to hear you. I'm not far enough away. KLB.
I got KL. I went dyslexic. I put KLB.
No, like, trust by 15.
Yeah, I got that. It's just I've got the T and the B in the wrong way around.
Because
like 4 times I've had to put it up and down. You're struggling here.
That's what people do with their process as well. They get it in the wrong order. Yeah. So, this is refined from practical research. This is also based on a coaching model. It's also based on the science of attention, which we'll go into a little bit later on. It works. It works because of evidence, and I guarantee if you try it, you'll see improvements immediately. I was doing a little bit of work with East Lancs Hospice, cheerfully enough, about a month ago, and we literally had 2 hours together, and in those 2 hours they took away a handful of lessons. Within a week, they doubled their audience numbers, they massively increased their engagement, because it works. Because people are looking for stuff online, they're looking for solutions to problems. Yeah, that's it, it's that. Nobody goes online and goes, show me something, well you might, but show me something moderately interesting that I don't know about already. Yeah, people don't do that. People go online, people do searches. This is why keywords exist. This is why search engine optimizations exist, because people look for particular things. So, how I know about it. Why do I do it this way? What? Why do I do it this way? Why do I do it this way? Simply because fuss is my fucking kryptonite, right? This is the thing, is that you can read a lot of theory, you can read a lot of kind of nice fluff and spend a lot of time kind of knobbing around with buttons and kind of, oh, but what if I change this or what if I change that? Come in. It's quite alright. I was expecting a little bit of a rush at about 4:10. Tis about 4:10. Fantastic.
5.
Yeah, 5 even.
Sorry.
Is that camera going to be...
Oh, she might gotta be in
Sorry,
line.
no, just sit down. If you can help yourself some more YouTube videos, that'll be fantastic. Because fuss is my fucking kryptonite, basically. Because you can spend a lot of time learning a lot of new things, or you can spend theory, but what I'm all about is iteration, learning, change one thing at once. Those people saw me on Fridays, minimum effective dose. Do one tiny thing at a time, see if it works, move on. And this know, like, trust, buy thing is about doing one tiny thing at a time and then doing it. It's a step-by-step process. Because I am here to save the world. I don't know whether you know that, but those of you who know me well, like Latif, he knows I'm here to save the world. I don't use the Superman allegory gently. I'm deadly serious. I'm deadly. This is actually one of the logos I use for my business. Not even joking. My old website had this and superhero help for creative businesses. This is how I see myself. I'm not even joking, sadly.
That's how we see you, mate.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, to save the world. And what am I saving it from? Too much conflicting advice. Anybody done any reading about what best to do online or what best to do with social media? What best?
Yep, they all tell you 10 different things.
Exactly.
And then you do it yourself and it's completely different again.
Exactly. And this is why.
That's not taking advice apart from you.
No, I don't give advice, I give insight and wisdom. That's different, okay?
You know what I mean.
Right? Because there's too much conflicting advice, and most of the fucking emphasis is on the bloody buttons. If you make the button red rather than green, it will do amazing. And if you put this in big letters rather than small, you'll get 500 times more love. Bullshit. Sorry, but it's rubbish. And this is what I'm here to save the world from. Nonsense. Because put 5 social media experts in the room, you'll get 7 different opinions back about what you need to do. Nobody knows is the short answer. Nobody knows. This is why working from principles, there's a difference between working from principles than working from information. Yeah? If you work from principles, if you kind of know what you're doing, okay, what I'm doing with no, I'm in the no bit of my thing at the moment, what I'm trying to do is get people to know what I do, show them the impact. Doesn't matter what buttons, doesn't matter what colour you make it. You're just talking about the right kind of thing. So when I meet somebody, hi, how do you do? How do you do? What is it you do?
I make badges.
You make badges, fantastic. And how is it you do that?
We take your artwork or your logo and then we make a wooden badge for you.
Okay, and why do you make it in wood rather than plutonium?
So that it's more ecologically friendly.
Okay.
I thought you said badges. And I was like, you make badges.
You don't make badges. I make badges. Sorry, Sam's from the country. Sam's from the country. So, okay.
Doesn't everyone want a badger?
I love a badger. If you believe them. I don't care how Frankenstein it is. I get that. So, you see how the conversation goes, right? What is it you do? How do you do it? And why do you do that then? Thank you very much. It's how we get to know people. Know, like, trust. And then the fourth one is you make an offer. Okay? So, too much conflicting advice, too much emphasis on the buttons, work from principles. If you kind of stick to the principles, like anything. Once the principle of powered flight was established, if you're thinking about Orville and Wilbur Wright, once the principle of powered flight was established, it made all kinds of stuff possible. When people were still experimenting with how it kind of worked, nothing happened. Work from principle. It makes everything more possible. So, I believe, this is where I liken myself to Martin Luther King here.
So you really do have a dream, don't you?
I believe I do have a dream. Notice that Martin Luther King said, I have a dream and not I have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? He had a vision. And I have a vision for you guys, right? I have a vision that everybody has something valuable to say. Right? When you're talking about your business, you have valuable stuff to say. There's no right and wrong. If you're speaking from the heart, then it's the right thing to say. And if you've got something valuable to say, the best way to get people to listen to it, say it a lot. Yeah? Repetition being the mother of success. Yeah? Because what most people do is they get on social media and then they kind of go, okay, right, fine. Or in fact, most of the marketing is that they say their message, hi, we make badges out of trees because we think, ecological stuff's better. So I'm paraphrasing, obviously. Because you think ecological stuff's better, we're trying to save the planet one badge at a time. Okay? And then the next time they kind of say something, they try and change it in case they bore their audience. And then they change it in case they bore their audience. Sorry. Not many people are listening. You're not boring anybody. Okay? And it's like, when we share message, even the people who see it, 30% take it in. Even if they're looking directly at it, 30% take it in. This is why, adverts happen on television. They don't just show one. That's that done. Fantastic. Right, moving on. Let's look at something else now. This is why adverts happen, and they're repetitious. Repetitious. Because say something valuable, say it a lot. Okay? And by something valuable, I mean, like, valuable. The world has enough information. Right? Nobody needs any more information. What we're looking for now is ways to deal with the information. Yeah? Stories that make sure, all right, okay, if I do this, then I don't have to think. We're looking to automate everything. Or everything. Even the stuff that we do in our own private lives. Right? There's a reason why you don't get up in the morning and think, what's my first action today? Do I brush my teeth? Or do I put my socks on? Or do I do some ironing? Every morning you get up and brush your teeth because it's habit, you've worked it, you've shortcutted it, you've got an insight into how the day works. Because when you do it, you can brush your teeth better. You can just get on with your day, you brush your teeth, you think about something else, you move on. You shortcutted it, you've got an insight. And this is what people want, insight, not information. So, because of this, choice is bewildering. Does anybody here like making decisions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do. I can imagine you do like making decisions. Most people prevaricate and wait for the universe to make it for them. If I just put it off long enough, then something will happen where I don't really have to think about it. And then, oh no, the deadline's gone. Bugger. Yeah. I'm in that camp myself, by the way. I'm terrible for that kind of thing. Because choice is difficult. Dealing with the unexpected is very, very difficult. Dealing with the stuff you don't know is difficult. When you're driving on the motorway, what can happen is if you're driving down the main carriageway and you come into an on-ramp, people will just, even though they're on the main carriageway, they'll slow down. They don't have to do anything. You're aware of this, that people just kind of slow down. It's because they don't know what's going to happen next, right? Is somebody going to jump on and we're going to have to steer? They're just, because they have to think, they slow down. Yeah. Same with any kind of choice. It makes you slow down, it makes you stop. The easier you can make choices, the more fun you'll have in your life. It's the successful dudes in the room. They're all like, yeah, we make decisions for breakfast. In fact, I brush my teeth with decisions. So, my offer to you guys through this know, like, trust, buy thing is a technique to make better choices when it comes to your marketing. Knowing which stage you're at, knowing which stage you're at with each individual person. Okay, so that you'll have a technique to make better choices, which is more effective rather than bespoking everything. Creatives in the room, we bespoke everything because that's just what creatives. Yes, that's what we do. Why do something the same way more than once? You're not the only ones in the room, by the way. Why do things the same way more than once? I'm creative. That's tiring. Yeah. So having a process is more effective, and you get more time of what you want because you're not consistently reinventing doing the same thing in the same way. And it gets tiring. Saves you time and costs less money to do it. Having a process makes things easier. This is why McDonald's is enormously successful. One of the main reasons why McDonald's happened was because Ray Kroc saw the potential in the original McDonald's restaurant, who at the time were having like short order cooks. They actually had people who could cook hamburgers and that kind of thing, and it was all labour intensive, and Ray Kroc thought, if we take the skill out of everything and make everything a single point in a process, then we can get kids out of school to do the same job but broken down so they don't have to do all of it. We can pay them less money, you can take it anywhere, you don't have to train them. Processes save you time and money, and they increase profitability. So, currently, the reason why I kind of invented this, or the reason why I kind of pulled it together from existing strategy is the problem. Why are you chuckling about? If I have to, I can't even separate you because you're on the line. So,
I just thought what he was typing underneath my picture on Facebook.
Right, so the problem is, you all think your business is at this, right? An individual, delicate little snowflake. You mean I'm not entirely me? You mean I'm not? Okay, the world has an enormous amount of people who do what you do. If not exactly the same, then something similar. One of the things that most businesses struggle with is the notion of competitors, right? For instance, if I'm an author, then for my book, the competitors aren't other authors. Okay? The competitors aren't other authors. The competitor is a night at the cinema. M&S meal deal for two, because it's roughly the same, right? Evening's entertainment, other stuff that's an evening's entertainment for around a tenner. They're your competitors. Okay? Experiences. Okay? So we love to think that we're all lovely, unique, I hate that word, unique snowflakes of businesses that are competitors at other. Nobody else makes badges out of wood and angel tears. Surely we will corner the market. And why aren't we wearing them, by the way?
Because we're running late.
Okay. Okay? We'll corner the market in badges made of wood and angel tears. I'm not picking on you, but you know what I mean? Is that your competitors aren't necessarily the people your direct competitors who do the same thing as you. They're people that can get the same experience or experiential value. Yeah? If you're a coach, do I spend $2,500 working with a coach one-on-one on a 5-week course or a 10-week course, or do I go online and spend money in a different way? Do I get the same kind of process? Yeah? Out of spending that kind of money. So, you like to think, this is the problem, is that we like to think we're an individual snowflake or a business when really we're like that. The world is awash with people with what we do, because the competition isn't just here. The internet means the competition is everywhere, right? Absolutely, completely everywhere. I could get people in Poland to make things look like this, in China, in America, in Lithuania, wherever I wanted. I could go, okay, maybe I want my badge made from, I don't know, koala claws or something, and I'm just kind of, I never said it would be good, I never said it would be good or even feasible, but you know what I mean? But if I wanted, I could go and get whatever I wanted from the internet, because the world is like this. The world is awash. It's massively oversupplied with what we do. There are many people, you're here, you could equally get this information from somebody else. It wouldn't be as good, obviously, or as handsomely delivered. But, okay, we live in an oversupplied world. And this is something that you bear in mind, right? Is that if we live in an oversupplied world, how do we make a choice? Right? Oh, these are my two favourite Scandinavian economists. Who are yours? Everybody's got famous favourite Scandinavian economists, surely. Nordstrom and Rudistad. They're really good. This book is awesome. You can pick it up at Amazon for like a penny or something, like literally nothing. It's been out about 10 years. It's still relevant. Really, really cool, especially for creative businesses. It's awesome. And they write really well. They're funny. And what they suggest is, if there's kind of an unlimited amount of choice, it's not just a question of what, yeah, but how. What kind of flavour what taste do you leave in people's mouths? Metaphorically speaking, obviously. So, what's the? Stop it. I was going to call you Pickard. I can't Burroughs. So how do you? What flavour do you leave? Why? How do you make a choice? Why should people buy from you? If I can get the same kind of badges, or the same kind of badge equivalent from anywhere else in the world, how do I make a choice? Okay? And this is where this comes in. Okay? Is that you get to know people, build a relationship, because we like doing business with people that we're friends with. And what's fantastic is that the internet has made it really easy to become friends with people. And enemies. 3 people offended me yesterday. Scott! That's bullshit I have to listen to. Fantastic. It was terrible. One of whom was a notable blogger from the Northwest. I'll spare the story. It's really funny. So this is the process for turning people into friends. Now, I'll do this better with a pen in my hand, so I'm going to draw it. You've heard of a marketing funnel, yes? Has anybody not heard of a marketing funnel? Good, fantastic, good work. So, the idea of a marketing funnel is to take everybody who doesn't know about you, everyone, and turn them into a single buyer who gives you money in exchange for your goods or services, right? The purpose of marketing is to take people who don't know you through the stages of they need to get to know you, they need to like what you do, they need to trust that you can deliver, and then they need to buy what you're offering. So the purpose of marketing is to take people up your funnel, as the actress said to the bishop. Now, the sad news is, no sniggering, the sad news is that not everybody who knows you will like you. Not everybody who likes you will trust you, and sadly, not everybody who trusts you will buy from you. Okay? Sauce. Now, if it makes sense, if you're going to lose people as you go down the funnel, then it makes sense to make this end of the funnel as wide as possible, right? Because if you get one person, if you get 1% here, then if you've got 100 here, then you get 1 there. But if you've got 10,000 at the other end of the funnel, then you've got significantly more here. Now, this is social, and this is your website. Okay, this is what you do, which is what we're going to talk about today. This is how you do it. This is why you do it. Okay, because if I was teaching you guys marketing to enslave the human race and turn you all into my puppets, then you probably wouldn't get involved. Yeah? Because no matter how good I was at this, you might not be interested, right? Or if I kind of improved your marketing by murdering baby seals, you probably wouldn't be that interested, because how I do it is important. Do you understand? Yeah? Because what you need to do is match your ethics as a business with the ethics of your customers. Yeah? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay? And the people who don't get you, don't talk to them. Because they'll never get you. Because it's... So, as you go down here, you increase the intensity of your relationship, and they're much more likely to buy from you. The sad thing is that most people attempt to put the buying here on their social media. Buy our stuff. You put Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff. Buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. Now, you can do that, but you look a little bit desperate. It's a little bit like wearing a wedding dress for the first date, right? Wearing a wedding dress is a perfectly appropriate thing when you know somebody, you like them, you trust them, and you're kind of taking what they're offering, right? It's one of those things. That's the right time to wear a wedding dress, but here, you just look a little bit desperate and clingy. It's true. You know, first date wedding dress, especially if you're a man. I've tried it, it didn't work. So
which bit would you say social media and which bit is website?
Social.
Website.
Know and like social, trust and buy, website / mailing list. Because you get closer. When you start getting a deeper relationship with people, then you can start making them offers. Now, the key thing to do is that at each kind of bridging point, put this in red, this is important. At each kind of bridging point here, there is like an offer, okay? Because this is one to all, this is one to many, one to few, one to one. Okay, now, this is free stuff, this is cheap stuff, this is costly, this is full price. Okay, so you can extract profit from every single stage of it, okay, because people join your free stuff, fantastic, join our mailing list, okay, that's a transaction, they're swapping you something, okay, so you join the mailing list and that helps you go up here, then you go, oh, fantastic, you like this stuff, you like all of our free stuff, well, I'll tell you what, the next thing is like a literary taster or something. Spend £3, spend £5, I'll send you a short story, spend £3, blah, 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 blah. So then, they've paid something, they're invested, you have a real relationship with them. Well, if you like the £3 stuff, come on my writer's course for £150. Right? It's going to be a weekend, it's going to be in a lovely place, it's going to be magnificent, we're going to have a great time, you're going to meet people just like you. Yeah? Here are some testimonials, couldn't trust in a couple of weeks, but here are some testimonials to show them that you can deliver what you're saying, because other people have tried, social proof. Here are some testimonials, come on our thing, fantastic. If you come on our weekend residential, come and have a great time. If you like that, our coaching program is £1,000. Now, with that coaching program, what we'll do is you get a one-on-one coach who's going to work with you, who's a published author, who knows publishers, who can shortcut the business, value exchange, everything from a free thing here to a one-on-one relationship where they pay you significant amounts of money to get the benefit. You see how that works? Yeah? So, it doesn't just work in a marketing sense, it works in a kind of profitability sense. Are there any questions? Does anybody not get it? It took me years to work out and you're all like, yeah, it's obvious, isn't it? So, no, but it makes sense, yes?
It's
Good.
just applying it to different business models, that's all, so, but that's cool.
Yes. Depends what you're doing. If anybody wants to talk about this in further depth, that's, I mentioned the VIP thing on the mail that you all got. If you want to talk about it in any more depth or kind of go through it one-on-one, I'm quite happy to do that because it helps me work out new products and services. Fantastic. So, this is the principle. What we're going to talk about today, okay, is the no bit. Okay, this is the question of what do you do? And this is how to create a compelling brand, designing your ideal customer, and making an offer that your customer wants to buy, because your customers are all looking to buy something. Yeah, they all are. Does anybody in the room not have any problems? No, I didn't think so. Because we all have things we want to solve. We all have problems we want to fix, so we're all customers for something. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So what you need to do is understand what problem you solve for that person so that you can know how to sell them it. So that's what we're going to look at. You've got a twisty face, Sam, what's up?
Nothing I was thinking. It was
Wow.
my thinking face.
Wow, that's a pain. That.
Sorry, I know it's been a long day.
Yeah, indeed. So that's what we're going to crack on with now. Because content marketing is about creating action. Okay, and the action you're creating is this arrow. Yeah, because there's no point. One of my most hated phrases, which I tend to bang on about great length, is get the message out there. That's like saying, if you're going fishing, just put your hook in the water. Don't bother about the bait. Don't bother about which bit of the river you're in. Don't bother about how good your rod is. Don't bother if it's raining. Don't bother if somebody's grenade fishing in the next river. Don't bother about that. Just get your fucking hook in the water. Just get your hook in the water. It's nonsense. Because just getting your hook in the water, you need bait. You need to be in the shade, otherwise the fish see you. Fish see you, you know, that's nonsense. Otherwise the fish see you. You need to be in a quiet bit where kids aren't riding motorbikes up and down the bank because it scares the fish.
You're an angler?
No, I hate fishing.
You tried it then?
No, never. Go on.
How can you try it? So how can you hate it?
How can I hate it? Because it is sitting still, not talking to anybody in the quiet. It's my idea of fucking hell. That's what. You know, I've never wrestled a polar bear. I'm not even going to think about that either. You know, it's not going to end well. So, just get your hook in the water. Just get nonsense, okay? Because the idea is to create action. The idea of the whole thing about fishing is to pull fish out of the water. Yeah? So, what you need to do is make sure that you know the metaphor. So, how to create a compelling brand. The worksheets. Thank you for the fabulous receipt for all the printing today. It's marvellous. I'm just going to say thank you, lifesaver. What we have here is, we're not particularly going to work through them in any great order. Because it's really difficult to think in the moment and go, oh, it's definitely that, oh, it's definitely that. But what I'm hoping is that the conversation we have is going to spark something in you. And like, oh, maybe I'll just put a few notes down. Or maybe when you're at home later on, ruminating over the absolute genius you've been a party to this evening, and you decide, you know, how can I possibly immortalise that in writing? You'll go, I have a fantastic worksheet. And one of the things about worksheets I like compared to notebooks is that you always know where your notes are. Because I have 4 or 5 different notebooks, a pen, a phone, an iPad, 2 laptops, and I go, oh, I'll just write something down, and then I can never remember where the hell I put it. So the idea of worksheets is, you draw hounds on my little map. I'm good with that. Yeah, spot the creatives. I shall make it my own immediately. So yeah, just note it as you pop any notes down. If there's any questions, if any of the questions that I've written don't actually make that much sense, do say it. But find a way of working with them as you want. If there's any questions, then great. So, branding. What is a brand? A brand's a promise of an experience. This is what I put the Maya Angelou quote on the inside thing, is that, you know, people remember how you make them feel. What you will probably remember from this afternoon, apart from my extreme good looks, is the feeling whether you laughed or whether you were bored or whether you'll remember the feeling of today. The information, you might remember if you've got some notes, great. If you had a recording of the video, great, because that's about factual stuff. But what your brand does, what my brand does, there's a reason why I'm jumping up and down and making stupid jokes. It's because I'm trying to create an experience for you. Yeah? So that it's not a boring sit-down lecture, where it's all like, okay, on the next thing, on the next box, because it's fucking dull. I hate it. I hate it. I don't have the patience for that. So, if a brand is a promise of an experience, what's the experience of working with you? This is a point of reflection. So, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you, so you can all relax a little. You know, like that. Oh, please, what's the experience of working with you? Are you fun? Are you quiet? Are you difficult to work with? Are you organised? Are you not organised? Are you vastly inappropriate? Are you? I am. That's how I am. Sorry. The reason why I mentioned that is that's me nailed. So the thing is that what's the experience you deliver? Yeah. It's like with your chargy thing. What's the experience you're going to deliver with it? Is it about no fuss? Is it about security? Is it about convenience? Is it about fun? We're out and fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it? What's the experience? Is it just a question of like
It's largely just creating a more convenient environment to charge your phone in.
okay, so convenient. Do whatever you want. It's about you, not the thing. Yeah, because the cabinets are about the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So with you, it's about you, and just put it there. It'll be fine. Great.
Yeah.
So, how do people understand this? How do people get to know it? How do people understand that, perceive it? Yeah? And that's what, the way we shorthand this is we call it brand. You know, if I colour some, like my personal brand colour is, for those nerds in the room, FF6600. I'm looking at you, yeah, because you'll know what that is. Orange, yeah. FF6600, and the reason why I use orange is because orange isn't safe, orange isn't quiet, orange is dynamic and angry and rah. And that's me, that's what I bring. If you don't want that, I want you to understand, I want you to see the orange all over everything I do and go, actually, it's a little bit loud for me, I want somebody in a suit who doesn't say fuck every 5 minutes. People who you work with are after a particular experience. Yeah. Is it about natural stuff? Is it about saving the world? Because they're two different things. You know, they're all kind of the Green Party versus Greenpeace. Two different, similar ends, two different brands, two different organisations. Yeah. So how do you help people understand this? The kind of bad news is that everything you put in the public domain, contributes to your brand. Okay? This is why the whole, just get the message out there, just put the fucking hook in the water, just is nonsense. Because it's a bit like soup, right? If you want to make some nice soup, you're careful about what you put in the soup. It's the same with your brand. Okay? That if you want a nice potato, leek and onion soup, great, fantastic. You don't put leather in there, you don't put concrete in there, it does matter what you say. So everything contributes to your brand one way or another, good or bad. If I Googled you, what would show up? You know, does anybody Google themselves? I do compulsively.
Yep.
In fact, I've got a thing called mention on my phone that tells me every time I'm mentioned anywhere. It's like, oh, fantastic. The problem is, I now know how many other fucking famous people have the name Neil Simpson. There's lots. So, does anybody Google themselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what comes back?
I get
Sarah
LinkedIn.
Pickard, interior designer in America. Yay!
You go, woohoo!
So, is that Sarah Burrows or Sarah Pickard?
Sarah Pickard.
I see you're a Burrows now.
Are you going to rebrand?
I'm not. I don't know that I'm even going to change the name for that business.
Dion didn't change her name.
You did it on Facebook. I was like, where's Pick? Okay, Burrows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dion didn't change her name. I got married last year and my wife didn't change her name. Bitch. I don't feel like I'm married at all. The things
You could change your name, Neil.
But I've been married for nearly 30 years, did change my name.
Yeah.
But I did change my name to my husband's name to write my book. So I use his name.
Ah,
As my husband. And actually, there's not many people called it, so my book comes up when you Google my name.
good work. And this is my second marriage, and when I got married the first time, I changed my name to my wife's surname, which is legal, and the banks hate it. So yeah, I was Neil Kelly for a period of about 8 months, which was longer than my first marriage lasted. So, if I Google, it's true. Honestly, it's a tale of hilarity and woe. But if I googled you guys, if I googled your business, what would show up? Do you know? You do know. Okay, good. Are you happy with it?
No. A competitor that ripped off our name.
Okay. How have you done that?
Same company name. We know where our company name comes from. It's the original founders, Adrian and Barry Technologies. This doesn't really mean anything else,
Yeah.
unless you were, in that sort of field. And the logo, whereas our logo's a bit of a globy thing. They've got a bit of a triangle, which is similar sort of colour scheme, exactly same product, exactly was it. And so yeah.
Because you're not taking to court.
We're trying at the moment.
Okay. What I do is just massively overproduce them in social media content, round about. Yeah, cheaper way than going to court.
Yeah.
Because you'll go to court and they'll look at, who's got the first bit on paper that they can prove, and if you can't prove it, then you could lose. However, with a very clever branding social media policy, you could just drown them so they don't show up. It's not difficult to do. So, if I Googled you, what would show up? And you will be Googled. Anybody in the room dating? Probably you. You don't look married yet. You're not dating at all? You have no interest in anybody? I'm going to be single for the rest of my life.
Not actively, shall we say.
Okay. Well, the thing is, because when you go on dates these days, people Google you.
Yeah.
I know.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. Time to shit yourself nowadays.
Not very embarrassing, like 2009 in Bebo or something like that.
Yeah.
You should never have done that calendar.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well,
Depends who you want to attract.
Yeah, that's
Exactly. The right customer. Exactly. The right customer. Exactly. The right person who you're dating, who get you, fantastic. Okay? Because you're going to be Googled. Whether, if I'm going to do business with somebody, if I kind of enter into some kind of partnership or contract with anybody, I Google them first. Not just, and then what I do is I ignore their website and I look at what else I can find. That way you find the truth. Because people will tell you all kinds of great things. It's like having your mum introduce you. Oh, I mean, they're fantastic, really nice boy. But what you find out is, if you need to find out about somebody, talk to their exes. That's why you find out what they're really like. Okay? And that's like Googling them and not looking at the webpage. So, if I Googled you, what would show up? The thing is with brand values. What do you want to be famous for? This is the key thing. Your brand. What do you want to be famous for? And then how are you making that happen? Yeah? I have a particular kind of personality which I'm trying to turn into a brand. And those people who get it, come back. Those people who don't tend to stay away. And that's great, it's fantastic. But the people who I know get it, I really want to work with, and I really love, and I really consider them, friends. Yeah? Even professionally, friends. Because they get it. So what do you guys want to be famous for? What kind of, not just kind of what kind of books do I want to write, but if you think about what kind of, what's your brand, what do you want to be famous for? Because if you think about E.L. James, right? Sorry, I can see the wings. Okay, you say what? She's a dreadful writer. She's a dreadful, dreadful writer.
Who's this?
But E.L. James, 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, dreadful writer.
Not that I've read the book.
Awful, execrable, terrible. Not even just technically, her ideas are awful. And politics, not good. Anyway, she doesn't care. She, in fact, courts it. She's like, yeah, tell me how bad I am. Bitches, I've got £800 million in the bank. I don't care. Because she doesn't care about that, because what she's after is that kind of homemade literature, that it was, you found somebody's diary almost, that you found kind of, this is all, and it's not smooth, and it's not, because the experience isn't smooth and clever and all that kind of stuff. Whoever she's getting marketing advice from, good work.
I think she was actually in marketing. Wasn't
Oh,
she?
that explains a piss poor writing.
She based everything on Twilight. She used to write fan fiction, didn't she?
Yes. Well, didn't 50 Shades come out of a blog?
Sorry, is it? Yeah.
There was a blog first.
And she's
Her blog.
At blog, it was fiction.
Okay.
Fictional. It's a fiction block.
copied
Person.
the woman that did Twilight's whole thing, because this new one
Yeah.
that she's done, the Twilight woman, kind of ran out of steam and did everything from the Loki vampire's point of
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
And started again.
Yeah,
Get it?
exactly. Rubbish.
So
But,
here's the thing, it doesn't really matter, she's rich.
but what she's done is she's hammered her brand. It's like Sam, I know Sam's brand really well because I keep picking at him about it. And
do you do, Sam?
Sam's whole brand is to
I'm
be
a designer.
Sam's whole brand is to be like the Tony Stark of the fitness world. Yeah, guy who does Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Oh, you're the guy that did the wheel thing.
Yeah,
There's a picture, yeah.
yeah. So
He's the millionaire.
yes. So Sam, I'm gonna out you. So well, the thing is,
That's his Ferrari outfit.
no, it's a range of. The thing
Yeah,
is,
Ferrari's to you.
the thing is with Sam's brand is that it's the same now as when we started talking 3 years ago when you were at university. And
Yeah.
it's very much that whole kind of, I want to be the Tony Stark of the fitness industry. I've got something new and special. And our first conversations were how am I going to build a gym in Tarleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, nonsense. Sack that. Become Iron Man. Yeah, because his stuff is so good and so different and so amazingly, vastly different to all of the other stuff on the market. That's his brand, and all he's done is he's scaled the brand. It's not about the product anymore. It's about the brand. Yeah, as I keep beating him until he understands this. Go ahead, Jamie. So, what do you want to be famous for? Make a decision. Okay, you're gonna have to drag a chair in from somewhere, I think.
Okay.
You drag one from outside. Come in, come in, come in. I've got a funny feeling I'm overrunning already. Yes, I am. So, what do you want to be famous for? Make a decision and just do that. And the question is, this is why brands exist. If I want to be famous for being innovative, and I get asked to do something that isn't innovative, say no, because that's not going to build your brand. I'm proud of this conversation. So,
A lot of time.
takes a lot of time. So, the thing is, because we get, people make decisions about us. It's like if I asked you, what's this lady famous for? What is this? What is it? We can read anything into anything. You can tell this woman's brand simply by this photograph. What's she like? Tell me what you read it. There's no right or wrong answer.
Very
Just tell me.
extrovert.
Yeah, extroverted. What else?
That's an ass.
You
Amazing.
can't see that on the picture, Jamie.
Amazing.
Okay. What can you tell about?
you.
That's right.
She's into makeup, she likes being original, she's not scared of her body, she enjoys her body.
She's highly sexualized. She's nothing about her is natural. Do you think she writes tomes of self-consideration and self-reflection? No, she doesn't, because it's all just shallow, vacuous, and you can tell that, and that's her brand, and she's making sure that every single thing about it is. You see how it works? And this is just one single publicity shot. How about this person? What do you think? What do you think they're like?
Quite serious.
Yeah.
Contemplative.
Yeah. What else?
Reserved.
Yeah. What else?
Take themselves seriously.
Very. Yeah. What else?
Folky.
She looks like a Holbein painting. You know, she looks like an oil painting from the Middle Ages. It's Florence from Florence and Machine, for those of you who don't know. But yeah, very considered, very arty, very kind of thoughtful, not even looking at the camera, whereas that is like, fuck you dudes. You know, I'm here, whatever you, I don't give a shit. That is, I'm off in my own little world, you'll never be part of it. You know? Yeah? And you can tell everything about them from this. So, understand, when you build your brand values, build them from the inside out. Because if you're going to build your values, then you have to know something you can live with. It's a bit like a relationship. If you meet somebody and they're like, oh yes, I'm terribly considerate, or if you tell them you're terribly considerate but you can't bear listening to them, and then you know, and then you kind of have a relationship where they're expecting you to listen and be quiet and not tell them what to do. And then, but what you really want to do on a daily basis is, you shut up, do this, get out, rah, then it's going to hurt. And it's the same with your brand. You do stop whispering. It's the same with your brand. If you're going to build a brand about being exciting, and you find being exciting hard work, it's going to hurt down the line. If you're going to build a brand about being detail focused, and you're like me and you're allergic to thinking, then it's going to hurt. So build your brand values from the inside out. Understand who you are and then wrap that around your business. Wrap your business around it. Be yourself, play to your strengths. Yeah? There's a reason why we chose Tony Stark for Sam and not Richard Branson or some other person is because Tony Stark's exciting, he's innovative, he's extravagant, he's a little bit brash, and it kind of matches Sam's personality. Sorry mate, but it does. He was the one who texted me from a tank the other day going, I'm having a Tony Stark moment, being in a tank in a tweed jacket with the SAS. Right?
It was a good day.
Exactly. But it's things like you know where you're going at that point. Yeah.
Did you get the contract with them?
We design stuff
Awesome.
all over the place.
So,
I'm going to pick your brain afterwards.
So, take a moment,
That's good.
literally take 30, 40 seconds and think about 3 words you can bring to any job, right? Absolutely any job. Yeah? How do you make people feel? How do people benefit by working with you? What do they get from it? What would they say about you? David's right, I'm a bit of a dick. Fuck it. I can rock that. Yeah? I'm as equally as confident in front of thousands of people as I am in front of you guys because I'm okay with that. I'm okay with failing. I'm okay with looking stupid. Okay? So, how would other people describe you? What value do you bring? That kind of thing. So, 30 seconds. We'll be timing you. Hello, by the way. Mark. What did the other packet go? You just drawn horns and everything. Which one's not giving? Customer. Okay. Okay. I usually make people. Have you got paper and stuff? Yeah. The workbook's great. So, anybody feel brave?
Yeah.
Want to tell me the 3 things? Thanks for that. Yes, motherfucker. What?
You asked.
Yes.
I said fun, enthusiasm, and professionalism.
Yes, here's the thing. Professional, not counted.
Okay,
Bespoke,
fine.
not allowed.
Okay.
Unique, liar. Because they're all givens. If
Okay.
you create a business and
Fun,
you're not
enthusiasm,
creative,
and
give
polite.
up.
Okay, politeness then. I'm quite polite.
Okay.
To my clients, I am.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. How about anybody else? Anybody else feeling brave?
Quality, simple, friendly.
Thank you. Quality's not allowed either. Because what does the word quality mean?
Something different to
It doesn't mean anything. Do you mean well made? That means well made, not quality.
Yeah.
Do you mean
Yeah.
best possible raw materials? That's best possible raw materials. Quality is a nonsense word.
Okay.
Yeah? And it doesn't help you get any leverage. Anybody else feeling brave?
Rescue, calm and progress.
Rescue, calm, pro. Fantastic, good work, that man. Thank you very much. See, now everything that he does in his brand, does it say rescue? Does it say calm? Does it say progress? Smashed it.
What do you do? Sorry.
I help businesses get some progress when chaos is around them, with people mostly.
Have you got any?
Innovation and problem solving.
Innovation.
Talking about the
Okay, what did you say before? When I asked you what you...
convenience.
There you go. See? And then all you need to do, innovation, cleverest technology, it's about convenience, it's about problem solving. We can put a fucking charger out wherever you want it. Nice. Yeah? Good work. So, you see how this works? And then you've got a way of talking about what you do, and then how can you build those values into everything you do? In the way you answer the phone, in the way your letterhead is, in the way you make a cup of tea for your visitors, in the way your carpet is in your office. No, I'm joking. Everything's deliberate. Sam's got his first office block planned.
Yeah.
You have.
We have it for years.
Yeah, he has for years. Because he understands his brand values and he's going, it has to be like this. Because if you make something, make it deliberate. Yeah? Because if it's not deliberate, give up. That's just like, I'll just get the message out there. Just put a hook in water. Yeah? Is this making sense? Yes? Good. I'm just looking, you have a very quizzical look on your face, which is good.
Oh, thank you.
Good. That's why it's quizzical. Fantastic. Marvellous. At least it's not painful like Sam.
I was actually chewing inside of my mouth. And I got caught and I didn't
Ow,
know
but
what
it
to do.
hurts so good. Yeah. So, successful brands have these kind of 5 things. I'm just going to flash through because we're running over. I told you I packed it way too full. So, successful brands are memorable. Okay? This hasn't been used for nearly 20 years. This curry one. But yet we still know what it is because it's of the theme. If you look at Coca-Cola stuff from the turn of the century, you know, even though it's changed, it's still Coca-Cola. It's memorable. And if you're producing branding that isn't memorable, you're wasting your fucking time. If it's just fits in with everything else, if it's just non-noticeable, people don't remember it, what's the point of having it as branding? You know where the term branding comes from, right? Cows, yeah, cattle, steer. What they did was they used to heat up a branding iron to red hot and then stick it on a cow's ass. So they knew which ranch it came from. Yeah? It has to be memorable. If they're all just squares, everybody could be the same, but they're great. Circle of our gates, or kind of stars of Windsor and all kinds of stuff. Fantastic. I like branding. So make it memorable. It's got to be meaningful. It's got to mean something to me. Just a quick question, is this woman withered or wonderful? Hands up for withered. Cowards. And hands up for wonderful. It's fucking soap. Soap has nothing to do with beauty. Right? Soap has nothing to do. Soap has nothing to do with real women have curves. Soap has nothing to do with, you know, beautiful women are wrinkly. It cleans your arse. It's just rubbish. It's soap. It has nothing to do with beautiful. But what they've done is they've made it meaningful because soap's just soap, right? They made it meaningful by making Dove beauty. Dove beauty, Dove beauty, Dove beauty, Dove beauty. And they've made it so that when you think Dove, you think, what's real beauty? It's soap. Yeah? What they've done is they've created meaning out of soap, which is very clever. So, how can you do what you do? Is your stuff about the machines, or is it about educating the next Prime Minister of England? You know what I mean? What's it about? Well, you're not just putting the machines in a room to put a machine in a room. You're not just writing books to write books. You're doing it for a higher purpose. Yeah? I'm saving the world. One indecisive business at a time. So, it also it helps if your brand's likeable. Anybody know about Tom shoes? Yeah, Tom shoes. They're dreadful shoes to make your feet smell. They're horrible, right? But the person who invented it, Blake Mycoskie, he very interesting chap. If you ever get the chance to Google him. He's really interesting. But what he did was he would for every terrible pair of shoes you bought, he would inflict a terrible pair of shoes on somebody who didn't know any better in the third world. So, but I'm being unfair and a bit glib, because he did put a lot of shoes on people that didn't have shoes. The point that I'm trying to make is that his brand isn't about the shoes, it's about the story. Right? Oh, these shoes. I don't know whether you know, but when I bought these shoes, they took a pair of shoes and gave it to somebody much less fortunate than me in a foreign country. Yes, I'm saving the world one pair of shoes at a time. Oh, if you want to wear your own regular shoes, that tells me a lot about you, thank you very much. It's the story, yeah? That's the story. So what story, and it makes them more likeable. Look at the happy smiling face. This isn't even Blake Mycoskie. This is just some model that they had. This is just some model that they had, just kicking about. And just going, I'm gonna make friends with the Africans. Fantastic. You know what I mean? Terrible. Terrible. But they're trying to build a thing about likability, right? Which is great. How can you make your brand more likable? This is important for you. Doing your wedding stuff, that people need to fall in love with you like that. Which is why the tone on your wedding thing is really good, because it's really friendly, really nice, and that's why it's the beastie about it. So, authenticity. Who thinks McDonald's is an authentic company? Who thinks they make nice food? Good healthy food? They show you pictures of fucking farms all the time, man. When are you going to believe it? You're not. Because we know McDonald's is full of shit. They're an inauthentic company. Right? We know that. We know, as humans, that burgers are bad. And they're not very good for you. And they're full of salt. and they bleach the meat, and it's all lips and assholes anyway. No matter what they tell you, it's all dreadful, right? If you're inauthentic, people will not believe whatever you say, right?
They're a very effective brand, though. Well, a very effective business model.
Business model. Personally, I'd say their brand's terrible. Yeah? They're good at getting people to buy their crap because it's addictive. It's full of salt, sugar and fat.
And wood shavings.
And all kinds of stuff. And it's cheap, it's everywhere, you know, and it...
But they don't sell what they sell when they're advertising, they sell the lifestyle, don't they? So,
And they also have
and
some
lifestyle
slim
that
model
doesn't actually
advertising their
attach
food.
to my content.
Just
what
like
they
Magnum.
sell, what they're selling is comfort. What they're selling is being able to go into any single McDonald's in Western Europe and know what you're going to get. Yeah, that's what they're selling. They're trying to create a lifestyle about togetherness and old men eating chips and young hoodie rats eating chips and all that kind of bullshit. What they're doing, they're trying to create this third place that Starbucks created. Anyway, they're not authentic. Yeah, we don't believe it because we know it's all full of crap. If you're not authentic, then people won't believe your message. This is the Co-op, excluding the banks, by the way, that was run by a crackhead. That's fact. He got caught. The Co-op are great. Set off in 1865. Rochdale pioneers decided to look at bulk purchase for poor people. It's a beautiful idea, and they still do the same now with fair trade and all that kind of stuff. I love the Co-op.
He's brilliant.
Hmm?
He's brilliant, Dollar Shave.
Yeah, I'm just going to show you a quick advert. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's not the wrong one. Okay, this is about... I can't remember what I said.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades and aloe vera lubricant.
What on earth? No! How rude.
Let's refresh it.
Bloody Internet Explorer, that's why.
Why do you use Internet Explorer?
No!
That's called McDonald's. So what is it you did? He showed us live, but he showed us one snip. Basically, he just said he does like tire, like started off doing tires or something. Well,
Yeah, so
I'm gonna have to skip that.
Uni put a sensor in a rubber tyre and just looked how many flips was done.
Well, if you Google Dollar Shave Club, then you can. Okay, there's nothing you can do about that. It's a college thing.
Give you a score at the end. It was nice and easy, but dropped it into UCLan, and then people started tweeting about it and saying they were doing this and that. Wigan Warriors picked up on it, so it built from there.
Okay, and then there was the Old Spice advert, which is about relatability. You know the Old Spice advert, which is like really muscly buff guy going, "Hi, is your man smelling like you because he uses your bathroom products? I'm the man your man could smell like if he uses Old Spice and Spice Real. Check it out, handsome dude, doing funny things."
the New Old Spice is brilliant. Have you seen
It's great.
the
The
black
new
what's
Terry
his-
Crews one.
Terry Crews is
Yeah,
brilliant.
fantastic. And it's about relatability because the thing is, the clever thing about having Old Spice advertised by men aimed at women is
I don't really do the buying quite often.
where do you buy Old Spice? You buy Old
Supermarkets.
Spice in the supermarket. Who does the weekly shop? Women do, generally. Okay, it's not a political statement. That's just economic fact. So if you're aiming straight at women, it cuts out the middleman. Go, oh, can you buy some Old Spice? Because men will buy the old shit. So over a certain age, obviously. So the thing about relatability is what they're doing is if you've got quite a hot guy saying funny things, women are much more social than men and they'll generally share it for you. So what they did is they created a voicemail generator where you could kind of go onto the website and get the dude from the advert to kind of talk about, "Hi, caller, this beautiful, intelligent lady," and you could tell him what they would say, and then he would kind of record your message for you, and you could download it. And what's the first thing you're going to do then? You're going to go, ring the phone, ring the phone, and then they're going to listen to the advert, they're going to share it for you. So your brand needs to be relatable, because if people aren't going to share it, you're wasting your time. So last bit on brand, and then I'll have a 5-minute break. So when you're thinking about your brand, think what you want to be famous for, what you want people to feel, right? What you want people to feel having seen everything you do. Now, colours, shapes, typefaces, do they really make that much of a difference, right? That's a question I used to ask myself about brand, and then I discovered this. Okay, this changed everything about the way I look at brand, right, believe it or not. If I was to tell you one of these shapes was called Kiki, and one of these shapes was called Booba, who would say this one was Kiki? By show of hands. And who would say this one was Kiki? Exactly. Yeah? Because the sound Kiki suggests this. We are much more attuned to this kind of thing than we think. I know, it's nuts, isn't it? Everybody. So, when you're thinking about your brand, think about how if you're trying to create a dynamic brand, use short words. If you're trying to create a more mature brand created about safety and security, use longer words. Consider this. This changed the way I think about everything to do with branding. Kiki, Booba. That's the way I look at it. And 99% of people are exactly the same. I think there's actually a condition you have if you see it the other way around. There's a TED talk about it. Brand-wise, that's where I'd quite like to leave it on brand. Has anybody got any questions? So, designing your ideal customer. Because the key thing is, if I was going to ask you who your ideal customers are, who would they be?
Lush.
Okay, Lush. Interesting. Good work. Have you spoken to them?
I'm putting a proposal in some next week.
How very exciting. Oh, well, fantastic stuff. How about the rest of you guys?
Found you.
Do you know who your ideal customers are?
I use Twitter better.
I know who's
Is that
reading my
much on
book.
there as well?
And who's that?
The age range, wouldn't it?
S-Mosh Bike.
Maybe like this, but under the age range as well.
Okay.
I've
Lovely.
seen that quite
So
a
quite
bit.
quickly, which is sort of 35 to 55.
35 to 55. What kind of socio-economic group end?
I don't know that.
Okay. Is there a way to find out?
I don't know.
Do you have a mailing list? Oh, that would be the way to find out. Yeah, if you've got a load of people who are buying your stuff, give them some free stuff to get on your mailing list, and you have them. It's called, owned resource. And then you can talk to them as much as you want. The reason why all of you are here is because I've met you all before, either virtually or in the flesh. That's how powerful mailing lists are. You don't have to know the advertisers anymore. Now,
You do that.
the thing about ideal customers, the answer I hate with this is that when who's your ideal customer? And then people go, everyone. And then I have to punch them. I'm not fucking joking. Because, yes, it's possible that you can sell to anybody with money, but it's unlikely. What you'll have is you'll have a curve like that, right? Where you will have, let's say, your main customers, women 35 to 55, just like you. Yeah, that'll be that there. Okay, and then you've got some outlying men who might like your stuff for whatever reason, and then some other demographic. Attempting to change these is hard. Yeah, if you can have an idea of who your ideal customer is, then it makes it much easier to talk to them. If you were a bunch of 16-year-olds, I wouldn't be talking about Porsche and rugby. I wouldn't be. I'd be talking about something else. Yeah? If I was talking to a bunch of very old men or women, I'd be talking about much more slowly, probably swearing less.
Is that possible?
Swearing less, because it's when you know who your customer is, when you know who you've got in the room, when you know who's listening, you have to use the right tone. It's really important for you guys talking to brides. Right? Brides need to be indulged, but not given too much rain or they turn into a nightmare.
What talking about me?
They like guidance.
Exactly, they like guidance.
to be indoors as well.
Captive choices, rather than what would you like, you ask them, would you like this, this or this? Yeah, easier. Because you missed a bit on we all hate choices before. So, designing your ideal customer. So who is your audience? There are a number of ways we can look at this, and most people get this bang dead wrong because they only look at part of the information that they need to look at. So, there are many different iterations of this.
Yes.
Many different iterations of this about demographic information, about how old are people, where do they come from, where do they live, what kind of education did they have, what kind of what kind of job do they have. Yeah, and then there's a kind of empathy map, which is the next generation. The thing that you've got in your handouts is the kind of the generation after this, which I think is significantly better, and I designed it, so of course it's going to be better. But what the empathy map does is tries to get you to think about the person inside the demographic, because 35-year-old married lady from Liverpool could be anything from crack hoe junkie to soccer mom with 5 kids. You know? So this, if anybody wants this, I'll just send I'll send them a copy of it. It's freely available on the internet. So what this is, it looks at the people about what are they thinking and feeling, what are they hearing and seeing, and what are they saying and do, what's the job and that, what pains are they having, and what gains are they after. Yes? So this is about the kind of person inside it. So what I'm going to ask you to do is consider who this person is for you. Like yours is really interesting. You're kind of second generation business owner. I love that. It's really insightful, brilliant. So the next stage on from this is my ideal customer information is broken down like this. You've got this kind of in your handouts, which is about, you start off with the demographic information, which is basically the nuts and bolts, the actual physical information that they have. And then the psychographics, what kind of person they are. The buying habits, information sources, and necessary narrative in the moment of need. So I've translated this into a little kind of handy worksheet for you guys. So and I've kind of made a nice little list and everything. So demographics, this is obvious, everybody knows that. Age, sex, where they live. Psychographics, that's about what goes on in their head, what they value, what they hate, what their desires are, what their needs are, the difficulties and fears. Buying habits is really interesting. Because how often do they buy what you're selling? You know, things like Lush, they're not going to be revamping the shops that often, but when they do, big things.
Can many men actually walk into Lush? Because I can't.
I can barely walk past it in the street. I love their products. It used to be Cosmetics to Go, like 25 years ago, run by, what do you call them? Somebody Constantine, that's right, I keep thinking Nightingale. Constantine, who's like the Willy Wonka of that kind of stuff. Great company.
Gives me the biggest headache ever.
Great company. Used to do everything by post. Phenomenal brand. Buying habits. So how often people buy what you sell? Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting for you guys because it's a luxury product rather than a need product. Okay. There's also 2 different kinds of. I don't kind of cover it in this thing, but there's 2 different kinds of income you need to be thinking about: strategic income and discretionary income. Okay, is that okay? If it's strategic income, if I say, okay, you spend 100 quid with me now, and with the stuff that you spend with me now, you will earn £500 later on. That's a very easy sell, yeah, because it's strategic. Yeah, and this discretionary income is, well, if you've got some spare cash, you'll enjoy it. You'll feel good. However, you can make that feel good a strategic thing by implanting it in their larger life. Your wife will enjoy having a happy husband. You won't beat your children so much, whatever that may be. You know, I have children. Buying habits also about recommendations. how can you build in recommendations and social proof? It's like we were talking about before, about the residential, about here's some people who've been on it before. Yeah. Where do people look for their information? If you think about this person, okay, 35 to 55-year-old ladies, where do they generally find information about books?
From the friends, usually.
Okay. Where else?
From the media, generally.
Which media?
Television, radio.
Which TV?
Radio 4.
I'm thinking Richard and Judy, actually.
Then say Richard and Judy.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's the one I was thinking of. Richard and Judy, yeah. There'll be a couple of other blah, 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 blah. So you will need to find a way of putting your information in front of those, rather than putting bush shelter adverts or some such, yeah? So you need to really think about where people look for the information, because if you're advertising in newspapers to 15-year-old children, you're never going to see it. Anne's got a fantastic example of this about Vauxhall courses that she uses in her fantastic talk available at the Northern Lights Networking on the 14th. It's going to be great. Next Tuesday, it's going to be great. About, she even gets her knickers out, which is really good. Which is about this thing. I'm not going to tell you the story, but it's basically, go and see Anne, she's amazing. About having the wrong kind of message in the wrong place. Because they're advertising small hot hatches in a way that people who buy small hot hatches don't read. So I won't spoil the story any more than that.
you.
So, but it's a really great example. And come and see Anne talk next week. I'll be there. It's going to be great. And then these are two things which are kind of new. I'm kind of playing with them. The notion of a necessary narrative is whatever purchase you buy is you need a story to justify it. Simple. Whether or not you have to justify it, whether or not the person you sell it. If it's business to business, that's going to be somebody's boss. Okay. If it's to a people, they may have a significant other that they have to justify the purchase to, or they may just have to justify it to themselves. The more you can give them the necessary narrative, the more likely they are to buy it, especially if it's business to business. If you know what they're going to have to convince their boss of, right? If you know what they're going to have to convince the husband of for getting a live band rather than a DJ. Oh, we could get a DJ, it's half the price. Yes, but, yeah. I used to sell insurance over the telephone. I used to love it, it's fantastic. And they have a thing called rebuttals. Yes, but. Oh, it's too expensive. Yes, but when you consider if you break it down over these days, blah, 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 then it works out, it's really affordable. Yes, but, well, if you die, yeah, it's too expensive, still too expensive. Yes, but if you die in the next 2 years, then your husband will be left with funeral costs and all that kind of stuff. No, but it's too expensive. Yes, but think about the effect that you'll have on your children if you die without any kind of information. You know what I mean? So you have a story to tell them. And when you're doing the marketing, you need that story. If you're trying to sell to accountants, what's their necessary narrative? Is it about effectiveness? Is it about improvement? Is it about the wheels won't fall off? Is it about money? Because it's never about money. Yeah, there's an obligatory clause that if somebody goes, oh, it's too expensive, and you go, well, if it was the price you wanted to pay for it, would you buy it? And they'll go, oh no, but it needs to be, yeah. Because it's never about the fucking money. Never. So once you get, if you use kind of a obligatory clause, then what they'll do is they'll tell you what it actually is. Usually that they're not actually in the market for something. So, does this make sense?
Give us that last sentence again, please.
Usually because they're not in the market. Anyway, they're just shopping. They're not trying to buy. Yeah, especially for stuff what you do and what Sarah does, which is quite high end and expensive. Because if anybody starts talking to you about money, just say, okay, if I could do it at the price you want, would you buy it? And then you'll find out what the problem actually is. Okay. Thank you, Seth Godin. And the other one to think about is the moment of need. If you were all drowning right now, I would find it pretty easy to sell you a life raft. If you were all hungry right now, I'd find it easy to sell you a sandwich. Yeah? However, if you ain't hungry, you don't want a sandwich. And if you ain't drowning, nobody wants a life raft. What's the moment of need for the thing you do? And how can you put your message at people's moment of need? This one's hard, but very effective. You're kind of there with that. It's like you're the person they call when they run out of clever.
I was just thinking, well, I wasn't thinking that, but I was thinking we sold most of our stuff and everything's gone to shit and they're fitting somewhere out. Like the last club we did, like they ran out of, they couldn't do like half the stuff and they just couldn't get suppliers. And we do not do half the stuff we did.
Yeah.
Like, you just pull it out your arse and find all sorts of supplies
Exactly.
and stuff.
You're the guy they talk to when they run out of clever, when they run out of other stuff. Yeah? Because that's their moment of need. Shit, you can't open a club that's half empty.
Then they come back to you next time. That's not what you do that anyway.
Exactly. Yeah? But it's the initial moment of need. Yeah? The problem, the thing I struggle with my business is that nobody knows how incompetent they are at branding. Nobody knows. Because they all go, it's great, it's fantastic, I'm quite happy with what I've got. And then you talk to them for 5 minutes and you go, well, how does this work and how does that work? And they're like, oh, you don't know. And they haven't got a bloody clue. Ignorance is a funny thing. So I'm having to find new ways of talking about brand, which is where this kind of came from. So, moment of need. I would like you to hope you're making notes as you go. I would like you to think. Right. This is how I kind of put stuff together. For the people I want to talk to, these are two of my, I call them, well, personas is the thing. I have two. I have a man and a woman. This is Sarah. She's senior management business owner. That's my favourite name. I can't help it. Okay. Senior management business owner. She's focused on creative business growth. She's more motivated by fame and kudos than she is by money. She likes being at the centre of a kind of group of people who respect her. She's a managed risk taker. She's a people person. She likes being in the centre of people, and she's success driven rather than money driven. And this is kind of, I kind of have a little quote, just so I can kind of keep them in my mind, is that success is achieved through effort and experimentation, rather than massive risk and running recklessness. And when I'm writing things for the web, when I'm writing copy or designing products, I think, how does Sarah like this? How's this going to speak to Sarah? Because when I'm writing things, I acknowledge risks and say, if I want to sell to Sarah, I go, okay, I know there's a risk here, but this is how we're going to beat the risk. Okay? I know there's a chance of, we're doing a lot here, but this is how we're going to organise the work. I know this is how you can talk to your friends about what you do, and then the selling takes care of itself. Yeah? What's up?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And this is Stephen.
I've done that too.
Who again, senior management business owner. He's absolutely really hungry to grow his business so he can cash out. Looking to build a brand platform product again so he can expand it quickly, increase profitability. He's really interested in tech. Really interested in tech, and he likes data. So if I want to sell him, I'm going to tell him how to measure things, how we're going to use data to kind of create growth, how we can kind of say, okay, if we do this kind of research, he'll give us this, and then we can use whatever we get to do Y. So I sell him through management of data and profit through progress. He's not interested in what worked last year. What he's interested in is understanding what Tesla are up to, what the new PayPal stuff's going to be like, what the new, all of that kind of thing. So I sell him through selling him a future. So what I'd encourage you to do is have a think about your persona name, have a think about who these people are, and just have 5 minutes of noting down who your key customers are. Has anybody got any questions?
Not distracting that part. Sorry. If you were going to your green pages, right? It'd be a lot easier if you were taking,
Okay.
if you were to give someone a cartridge, right? So you go to a Starbucks and there's a package of cartridges that are banned. You know the external package is banned. It's a bollocks, the way they're going to make that 3 amp batteries, you could just go into Starbucks and there's already batteries charging, and you basically go to your app, scan it, you take one cartridge out and replace it with yours, then you've got a fully charged cartridge you then put into the side of the thing, walk off, and the next time you need them, you can then just go back to wherever there's some like big garage, big coffee shop, whatever it is, these batteries you
Supermarket principle.
yeah, sort of,
Yeah.
but you can always go back to get a new battery. So like if you've got the casing of the battery and you just press the cartridge in, just literally like itself.
Yeah. You could brand those cartridges as well.
Really
You could
easy,
get.
but then you just have the branded thing in Starbucks and you just take it out and replace it with the one that's dead, and it would be charging in there early, and it wouldn't release that because you're going through an app.
Great. It would work. Clever. Yeah.
It'd be better than giving people cables because only one person can charge, whereas there's
Yes.
like 20 chargers.
So basically, you've got an ever recharging,
Yeah,
rechargeable
yeah.
battery.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, I haven't got time to go.
There you go.
That's why he's going to be on Dragon's Den.
No, you ain't.
At least
Why bother with Dragon's Den?
To get more famous. She
Don't
probably
need to.
Doesn't need to be much. Have him tell him who's best mate is.
some joy
Right.
by any chance.
5 minutes, just crack through it, write some notes on who your customer are. Because this is where you get traction, and this is how you're going to create marketing. This is you're going to build the like, the trust. Everything works from the start of from who you're talking to. 'Cause you're going to talk about creating an offer in the next minute about what people are interested in. If anyone's got any questions, just spit them out.
It's psychographic, the word.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a real one.
We're doing that bit now.
You do all of it. Just it doesn't have to be comprehensive. Just note down anything that you know about your people, and if you don't know about them, that's your area of research. You know, the thing is, gaps and things like this are really good because you can go and research stuff. You're giving away my IP.
No, I'm just spreading the love, baby.
Yeah, somebody's doing that. I was speaking in, was it Hamden, Glasgow? And I've got these kind of 4 magic questions that I use to create content. And this blogger runs a social media agency. He's just like, yeah, I'll have that. Photograph it, yeah. These are good questions, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, what are you doing circulating my IP for? You wouldn't like it if I went, oh, this is how he does his business.
Yeah, but there's a reason why it's fucking you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You didn't know that.
There's a lot of people. We had it when we had the. Sorry, but when we had, with all due respect, when we had it at the PNE, when we had that day, some of the people talking about social media were full of shit. Chris Shaw and I just walked out when this is bullshit. Sorry? But like, there's some certain things I was just like, serious. Because I'm like, it doesn't work.
You just say it's all about everything.
Chris,
It's all about building a tribe. It's all about being clear. It's all about.
You basically buy the
So, last couple of minutes. They're very interesting, inscrutable looking at your face. You alright? Just making sense. Sure? It's useful?
Yeah.
Good.
This is the difficult part for us.
Yes.
Because there's so many different people at school.
Have a number.
Yeah.
Okay? What you'll probably have is end user economic activity balance. You have 2 end users. Okay? Which is, you have teacher and you have kids. Okay? So you've got to have playability for the kids, but you also have to have usability for the teachers. The economic gatekeepers are the people with a budget. You need 3. 5?
Teacher for the wireless, so for everyone to use it. Then we've got to convince head teacher.
Yeah. Different. It's a different argument.
Yeah. Wow.
It is massively.
Yeah.
Because head teachers don't give a fuck about wow. They give a damn about budget. Give a damn about budget.
Most head teachers don't care about budget.
So you can
The
set
teachers
that
don't care about
aside.
budget.
So you've got
I'm
most of
surprised.
the line promote anyway, but the back
Good.
book, that's releasable, which is something
Who cares
that's
about
done.
budget?
In fact, you can actually look
Governors
at the literature as
and
well.
business managers care about budget.
Okay.
Head teachers.
Often the problem with that is
Ofsted
that
and head teachers are spent.
Okay. Okay.
so you can
Okay.
get,
Then you need to know LearnMaker. You really do. At Learn MKR.
I know, it's got
That's what we do. J.
yeah.
Somebody or other, but they will deliver the wow for you. So if you make a kind of connection with them, then they will give you a lot of free stuff. They'll even come in and do I'm not speaking on their behalf, but what they're doing is just making sure and doing free events in places. So people can see what they do, and if you're there at the same time going, oh look at all these people kicking off. Yeah.
Yeah. You take a long time. It's like
Okay, last 30 seconds.
Tuesday, I talked to the person who was thinking all day.
No, I don't know whether you're going to get to the right back.
So he's
This week.
Okay, so we'll crack on with the.
So we literally
Stop creating. I'm not bullying you though today.
I did it.
You're making some. Okay, so now we're cracking on to creating an offer people would buy. The way I've kind of thought about offering this is like a value proposition. So everybody know what a value proposition is, which is what problem do you solve, who for, and how. Okay, because as we've kind of touched on the way through, you're not selling charged phones. You're not selling charged phones. What you're selling is making sure that you've got a picture of your daughter doing that funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll watch it for a bit.
Yeah. You're not selling recharged phones. Yeah. That's the last thing you're selling. What you're selling is not missing that family moment.
Yeah.
You're not selling wedding music. You're selling memories or showing off. Yeah, exactly. There's a kind of combination of these. With your forever thing, you're selling kind of
Lifestyle.
yeah, vitality, lifestyle, all of that kind of stuff, which is great. So,
Which is why I put up pictures of me in the gym. I'm naked.
exactly. If talk about you later a bit actually. So,
I might drop if you want as well.
no,
Cheers.
no, I was just thinking because I could do with more energy. Just wondering if that's.
We can I told you, aloe vera will help you.
Oh, okay. So,
you sell aloe vera?
Yeah, I'm very stuck with it.
you're enormously successful. Yeah.
Do you sell Juice Plus?
No.
It's still French.
Juice Plus is bullshit. Sorry for what problem do you solve? Right, you need to solve a problem. It's not about selling the stuff. With your books, do you sell escapism? Do you sell time alone? Do you, do you?
Both of those.
Good. So in that case, you're not selling the books. Make sure that when you're writing copy and when you're writing stuff, you're talking about time alone, time where you can be yourself. Same with the kind of stuff, and what kinds of literature that, what does your book do for people?
I'm selling secrets because the kind of books I write are kind of esoteric, all that kind of
Unknown thing.
yeah. So
The occult. Okay, fantastic, great, good. So make sure that it's, that's why The Secret is called The Secret. The Secret. That's why it's called The Secret and not The Master Plan. Because the Master Plan sounds like fucking work. Right? The Secret sounds like, oh, I know it now, fantastic, I'm off. Bullshit. They have the whole universe backwards. Anyway, so what problem do you solve, who for and how? And this is how you put a value proposition together. Mine is, I create certainty out of doubt, saving money and time for growth hungry businesses, helping them know the right information, to share at the right time. Yeah, that's what my know, like, trust, buy thing is understanding what information to put where to get what you want. Yes, that makes sense? Cool. So, this is the answer to the question, why should I buy from you? It's back to the little unique snowflake thing again. Why should I choose you rather than some dude in China who can do it at a third of the price? Why should I read your books rather than E.L. James or somebody else on Gumroad or something? You know, why should I buy your technology? You know. Why? So, and this is what your value proposition does. Is it helps people make a decision. Yeah. So that's a great image, that, isn't it? So your customer value proposition explains how your product's relevant. Yeah. So it's not just it charges your phone. Yeah, great. I've got electric at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But how is it relevant? Because you're selling captured moments. You're selling not missing the job or catching in football scores or that. You know, shows the specific benefits and advantages. Basically, what value you have in your product, and shows the increased usefulness compared to your competition. Yeah. So what's amazing about what you're doing, rather, that fucking cartridge battery thing, fucking clever, man. Whatever you're doing, it's different to a cabinet because you've still got your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like if I wanted to put my phone in a cupboard, I would have left it at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm out and I've got a kind of plug-in battery, fantastic, marvellous, all of that kind of stuff. Even if it's got 2 hours of charge on it, bullseye, because I'm home by then.
The best thing about what we do as well, those plug-in batteries that everybody has, you have to pay 80 quid to get one that charges it as quick as a mains.
Yeah.
And obviously ours runs off mains power, ours charges just as quick as a mains.
Exactly.
As a mains. Whereas the disposable, well, not disposable ones, but the ones that you buy for 10 a day, they can take 12 hours to charge your phone fully.
Yeah.
Obviously they don't because everybody just uses them on the go. But
yeah. But you know what I mean? So this is what your value proposition does.
Yeah.
When you start to talk to people about things, this is what you tell them. Yeah. Hi, what is it you do? We, whatever this is, right? So the thing about value propositions is for real people to read and understand. It's not written in business bullshitties, right? It's not revenue-focused marketing automation and sales effectiveness solutions that are at least collaboration throughout the revenue cycle. Who cares? Yeah. We make machines that make people work better, so you get more profit. That makes sense. Yes? So, you have to use the right language.
Jamal Edwards.
Yeah. Okay. You have to use. If it's for real people, then you have to use the right language. We've kind of touched on this a couple of times already. You would speak to this person and this person very differently, despite the fact that they both have media empires. Right. This is the scum that is Rupert Murdoch. Okay. And this is Jamal Edwards. Everybody not know who Jamal Edwards is?
MBE
No,
now.
I don't know.
MBE now.
You don't know either of them. This man owns half of the world. I shit you not.
And he controls governments.
He controls. David Cameron. If you look really closely, you can see David Cameron in his pocket. That's simple. He owns his Sun Group. He owns most of the independent TV companies in the world. He owns. Yeah, it's Rupert Murdoch, he's scum. And he's the reason why Scotland didn't become independent, because he got most of his newspapers to ramp up the vitriol. And this is Jamal Edwards, generally a lovely person by all accounts. When he was 15, his mum gave him a camcorder, and he started videoing his mates doing kind of grime rapping. Now, my suspicion is that he wanted to be a rapper but wasn't very good, right? Because SB stands for Shadow something or other, which was his rap name. And he wasn't very good, but he set up a YouTube channel with all of his clips of his mates doing the thing, and it became massive. He monetized the traffic on the third time of asking, and now SBTV, he's worth about 12 million quid. It's MBE now, isn't he?
It's MBE, yeah.
MBE, right? He's the place where all the cool people go before Radio 1. Yeah, when you get all the kind of hip hop black artists all come over. Radio 1 advertised on SBTV. That's how good.
He found Ed Sheeran, didn't he?
Did he? I did not know that. Oh, that
Yeah?
explains it. Ed Sheeran's brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of music, but Ed Sheeran's.
Yeah, no, he found.
Yeah. Do you see that one where he got up, you see the YouTube thing where he got up on karaoke with that woman in Canada, I think.
Yeah.
She was singing his song, he just ran up on stage and he started singing with her. And she was so, use the right language. If you were talking to this vile capitalist scumbag, you would use one kind of set of words. And if you're speaking to this chap, you'd use a completely different set of languages because of the culture they come from. So, when you're making an offer, be very clear about who you want to respond. However, you can't guess what that language is. Does anybody here speak kid or teenager? Yeah, you don't. You like to think. How old are you now?
17.
You're still getting a bit old. Hey,
Yeah, no.
kind. You know what I mean? Though
Yeah.
it changes.
I've got nieces who speak in hashtags. I mean, who the hell speaks in hashtags?
Yeah.
She actually went hashtag. She put her hand up, she went hashtag, and I went, did you just say that?
Yeah. Anyone who says
She's the
lol
one who
out
told me the
loud
word
needs to
selfie.
be
I didn't know the word
punched.
selfie thing, so she told me that.
Yeah, just fucking laugh. It's easier. Yeah. Anyone who says lol. So this is the thing. It doesn't matter who.
Hashtag cuz. Mate, don't put hashtags in emails. It doesn't like work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. There's no point. Yeah, exactly.
And she wrote like in the email, and I'm looking at it. You proposed this product. It's like hashtag cuz. We should link up on hashtag Skype. And I was like, mate, it doesn't work in emails. Like,
Yeah.
just like the
Missing
concept
the
of what they are.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So my point with this is you can't guess what language it is. If you've got a group of people, your 35, 50-year-old ladies, your brides, lush, they'll have a way of talking, right? They do. People who work in business development have a way of talking. People who in the ecological community have a way of talking. People, authors, techno people, they all have a way of talking. And unless you are part of that niche, you don't know. You can't guess it. So research, ask them. Yeah, just everybody use SurveyMonkey. Everybody got a mailing list?
No.
You're forgiven, I know you don't. If you have a mailing list, talk to them. I've got some new clients in Australia recently off the back of, remember that survey ages ago? Yeah, got people going, hey, this sounds interesting. So just by surveying them, and they will tell you what they want. If you're surveying your 35 to 55-year-old ladies, and you go, oh, what kind of books do you like? And they go, well, I personally like spy thrillers involving squirrels. Guess what? You might be best off writing spy thriller. You know what I mean? It's like, if you know teachers, ask them, what do they struggle with? What do they like about technology? What do they hate about it? And then they're telling you exactly what they want. Yeah? So, ask. What a value proposition is not, it's not L'Oreal, you're worth it. It's not a slogan, right? Because it doesn't tell you anything. It's just a slogan. And it's not a value proposition statement. It's not a kind of positioning statement. It's not a kind of, we're the #1 company selling bullshit in work. That's just a positioning statement. That just tells you where they are on the market. It doesn't tell you anything about your product. So, your customer value proposition. You've got a sheet somewhere, I think. It falls into kind of 3 bits. Closer picture. We'll talk about hero shops in a minute. But your customer value proposition is firstly your headline. I'm going to show you another way of doing this, which I couldn't make up my mind to doing this. If you're writing stuff like blog posts and things like that, or selling copy, there's another way you can do it, which I really love, which is symptom, root cause, this. Okay, now, what you do with symptom is, what you do is you get people to self-select in. You go, 80% of working women, 80% of working women don't do this mistake and have headaches every day at work. Okay? So what you get is people going, oh, I'm a working woman, I get headaches at work. Let's read more. So then you tell them the root cause of this. 80% of women don't drink enough water at work. Yeah, 80%, or they're dehydrated, or they don't sleep well, or they do. Yeah, let's use sleeping because it's easier to fix, right? 80% of women get headaches at work because they don't get the right sleep during the night before. Oh, fantastic. Let me tell you about our Sleep Master 3000 program. Yeah? Because what you're doing is you kind of tell them about...
That's every advert.
Huh?
That's every single advert.
Yeah. Yeah. So, especially online, this works really well. You get people to self-selecting. So your headline should contain can contain your product, can contain your customer, can contain a problem. Yeah, we fix this. Yeah? Your sub-headline does a little bit about the root cause. Yeah, it's a root cause you've never considered before. Yeah, and then your you've got 3 bullet points, which are features, benefits, advantages. Yeah, your features are the physical properties of the thing. The benefits are why it's good to use it, and the advantages are how you can win over other people by using this. Most people don't touch the advantages. It's really good at B2B sales. We use HTML9 coding to use this thing, even though you've never heard of it before. What it'll do is make your website load faster. So then, blah, blah, that if it loads faster, it will get SEO ranked higher. Yeah. It's an advantage, not benefit. Now, is this making sense? Okay, so hero shot. One of my new favourite words. Hero shot is like a pack shot. Right, but a pack shot is the picture that you use to sum up. It'd be like not an album cover, like a book cover. Sorry, mind blank. Hero shot is people using your stuff and enjoying it, succeeding, winning, or doing better. Yeah? So that's a hero shot. This is how you sum up all of this in an image, because we perceive information better. So for you, it would be getting that picture of your daughter, while the other guy's like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Or some other stuff. Or, you know, kind of capturing something, terrorist attack, whatever. Well, you know. That was a joke, by the way, I'm not.
Going around trying to capture terrorists.
Oh no, I should do that. Great superhero.
There's your next contraption.
Yeah. So, so this would be a picture of what sums up this message in an image. Yeah. So the value proposition lives on your website. You can evaluate your value proposition by asking yourself how obvious is your product or service. How obvious is the end benefit? How obvious is who you're talking to? And what makes your offering useful? So you should run every single piece of your marketing through those 4 questions, by the way.
Hang on. Take a picture of this. Because we're talking about this afterwards.
What?
Stephen, Joseph and I are meeting up for a dinner afterwards. So. Shit.
Okay, so...
Don't move yet, I'm going.
When you're ready, Bilal.
One day. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Okay? So, these are the 4 questions. You can run all of your marketing through that. How easy is it to know what you're doing? How easy, how good it is? Who am I speaking to? And how obvious is the benefit? So, when you write your CVP, you need to run it through this. Typo. 5 main points. Bollocks. I've been looking at differentiation, and these change over time, but these are the top. By top, I mean only things you can differentiate on, right? Best quality, yeah. The highest quality made product, yeah. The Rolls Royce, the Ferrari. The best bang for your buck, which is how you kind of go against quality, because high quality stuff's usually about price. Luxury aspiration, must have a technologically superior. So, for yours, it would be about a must-have for me. If you live your life on the go, if you're constantly doing, if you're a man or woman of aspiration and success, you've got to have one of these, because you don't want your phone going down. Yeah. For your design work, where would we go with this, do you think?
Probably more about aspiration.
Is it? So what's...
The combined with must-have, so when people go into a space, into an interior, they want them to feel a certain way.
And maybe saying technologically superior.
Yeah.
Manage the space.
Yeah.
Design the space.
Yeah.
Control the space. Getting people to feel what you want them to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quality, obviously, attention to detail, all that.
Yeah, I would say because it's a design thing, I'd say, this is a conversation we should have over coffee sometime.
Yes.
But technology, I would say it's a technologically superior. You could just chuck furniture in a room.
Yeah.
You could just put the desk there, put the desk there, put that. We don't know what's happening. However, with my design on board, it will be ergonomically designed so that it will create a particular ambience or feeling. Blah, blah, blah. It will match your brand.
Yeah.
I know how to do this, you don't.
Okay.
I would say there's a technologically superior thing, personally.
So I think it's a technological thing. That's what it is.
Sorry, for me, technology is everything from pencils to the words that come out of my mouth. That's a technology. So when you're putting together your value proposition, which one of these do you kind of think matches what you do? And then you go, when you're making your offer, you make sure that you couch it in those terms. If it's about aspiration, if it's about luxury, then you talk in luxurious terms. Not necessarily about it's the most expensive, but if it's the luxury of free time, if it's the luxury of self-determination, if it's the luxury of not having to deal with anyone change for an hour, you know, that's a luxury.
You know, the no like trust buy thing.
Yeah.
Can your offering for each part of that change?
Yes. Because your price points change, you can kind of say, okay, this is about the best bang for your buck here, the free stuff. But if you want the technologically superior, super excellent, attention to massive, raw, most advanced stuff you'll ever get, that's our most advanced product. Yeah. So your offers may change depending on your product. Yeah. It's like Trent Reznor's a good idea. 9 Inch Nails rock band. You heard of 9 Inch Nails? You look like you've heard of 9 Inch Nails. You wear a lot of black. Okay. So 9 Inch Nails rock band. I love them personally. They're amazing. I'm a big fan. What happened was this. Trent Reznor decided to do, the guy behind it decided to do this fantastically massive set of albums. It was kind of a series of 9. And I don't remember the story very well, but he gave a lot of it away. But as well as giving a lot of it away, he made these $300 super expensive, hand-signed, blah, 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 blah. So within that, he had the same product being marketed in a number of different ways, because who's going to pay $300 for a record?
It's like on Kickstarter where you can like buy the MP3 album, or you can buy a real album that's signed, or you can buy the super deluxe, awesome Uber pack, or you can like have a personal
birthday party.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So they all kind of fit a different, because somebody who doesn't know you, like you, and trust you will not buy that bit, but they will buy the cheap stuff. Thank you for that. That's exactly my point. So that makes so when you're thinking about how you cut up your stuff and how you make your offerings, people at a different level in your funnel will want a different offer. Yeah. Good. So you can power up your value proposition. Sorry, this slide will make me joke a little bit.
I just don't on time. I need to run in.
Yeah.
So,
Got 5 minutes. Okay. Power ups your value proposition. You can power things up with like free shipping, bonus for purchase, all of that kind of stuff, so that it's not going to cost you anything to do, but it's like a condenser. You can power it up, or customizable stuff that isn't going to cost you configurability, all of that kind of stuff. You can power up your offer with that. Good proposition example, good value proposition example is this shit picture. So basically, email marketing software for designers and their clients. It's really clear who it's for. It says 100% rebrandable. That's a nice little booster, because that means you're not going to carry their marketing. It tells you exactly what it's going to do. They've got 4 points here rather than 3. Kind of send beautiful emails, analytics, manage subscribers, mark profit. It's a really good value proposition. You can tell exactly what you're getting, who it's for, and why it's worthwhile. So, your offer.
Hey, alright. Sorry.
2 seconds.
Hey,
Your offer needs to be 90% what, right? 90% of what the impact's going to be, and 10% how. Most people make this mistake, is that they tell you the how. Hi, I'm a solicitor. I've been training for 25 years, and I've got my degree at blah blah blah. And I'm not interested in that. What I want is the what. I will keep you out of prison when you have done bad things. Right, yeah, exactly. Where do I sign? No matter how much of an arse you've been, I will protect you from yourself.
I am Saul Goodman.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So that's the what. Right? That's the what you're going to do for me. The how, oh, and I'll do that by being a qualified lawyer. Nobody gives a stuff. What they want is the what. So what you're doing, we improve the learning in your classroom. We self-time. We make your wedding so you can go out to your mates. We, all of that kind of stuff. What's the what? On your sheets, there's lots. I was going to do a little exercise about putting in a lot of what, and then about the how, because what's the important thing, and then there's more customer value proposition. Probably 5 minutes. So, thank you very much for listening. Next week we're going through the next stage, which is light. I hope you can make it for me. Again, open, free, same thing. I hope you come back, because every week's going to be. I'm just going to be talking to Karen now. So, come back. I'd love to have you here, because what we're going to do is talk about 3 things that make you likeable as a business, about turning likability into profitability, and how to have people search you out. And the magic thing almost everyone forgets. So, thank you very much for listening. If anyone wants to hang around, and if anyone's got a question, I'm quite happy to
You said you wanted to know,
hang about a little bit. Yeah, then I'm